Chef Hesh here. I'm not sure if you saw our last video, but Chef Lynn made this kick-ass like chicken dip. Oh, it was cheesy, rich, creamy, spicy, delicious. That way we could, sit around and watch some sports ball. And I thought to myself, well, what can we do that would pair nicely with this kick-ass chicken dip thing that she made? I figured meatball subs. I mean, who doesn't like a meatball sub? A lot of people I know just take some marinara and dump it on top of some meatballs and throw it on a sandwich, and it's like sloppy and gross and weird. They don't really have much cheese, etc., etc. I'm here to show you how to elevate your meatball sub and essentially make it kick-ass. First thing you're going to want to do, get some fresh bread. Don't buy that pre-packaged crap that you get just sitting on that big old shelf. I actually have a local grocery store that makes it fresh every day, and this, oh, it's like a pillow. I'd sleep on it. Second thing you want to do, I've got a red and a yellow pepper here that I've cut up. They're the sweets. I buy the nice sweet mini bell peppers in a bag because it's actually cheaper to buy them this way, and they taste a lot better. So crunchy and juicy. You want these, trust me. So I've got a few of those diced up. I'm going to throw them into a hot wok because I love my wok. And I've got some rotel. I love this stuff too. It's tomato and green chili. This is going to elevate this flavor so much you're going to love it. Check this out. Just dump your peppers in. Dump your rotel in. You want this hot and steamy. As you can see, it is very, very hot, very, very steamy. This is what we want. We want to kind of caramelize this a little bit. You want to cook it down. I did not drain the rotel. You never want to drain the rotel. In most use cases, you want that juice in there. And that's what we want. Oh man, that's going to be absolutely great. So just kind of stir it around a little bit. Kind of flatten it out a little. And let this go. We are going to add a couple things to this. What are we going to add, you ask? Quite simple, and I'll show you. Of course, salt and pepper, because, well, it's necessary. Just add a little bit of salt. And a little bit of pepper. Or, in my case, a lot of bit of pepper because, well, I love pepper. And we're just going to let this saute for a little bit. I've also got, come on, you know it, say it for me, Zatarain's cayenne, because, well, it's amazing in pretty much everything. Add a little bit of cayenne. Give it a good stir. We want to mix this around a little bit. That's it. We're just going to let these saute for a few minutes. You've seen in other videos how we do this. We let it go until it's done. I can't give you a time. It depends on how your heat level is. It depends on the pan you're using, etc., etc. My point is, cook it until it's done. And then we're going to add this to some tomato sauce. And we're going to use some just bagged frozen meatballs. And let it go for about an hour. And trust me, it's going to make that sauce taste so much better. We're also going to add 3 different types of cheese. I've got a cheddar, provolone, and the Belgioso Parmesan that I'm going to be using. I'm going to put some crunchy onions on top, some black olives, and that's it. No lettuce or tomatoes or pickles or any weird stuff like that. Nope. Nice and simple and extremely delicious. I'll see you in a minute. Once our vegetables are completely sauteed, we don't want to scorch these, we don't want to burn them, but we want them really close to being done. Don't dry them out completely, because, well, that's essentially burning and scorching them. We're going to pull them off the heat and add them to our sauce with some meatballs. Nice and simple. Check this out. I'm going to pull this off the heat, and I've got a nice 4-quart here, and I'm just going to scrape these in. Once you've got your vegetables in your pot, the next thing to do, put in your meatballs. I've just got the Armour brand of beef meatballs. There's about 22 half-ounce meatballs. Open that sucker and dump them in. Once you've got your meatballs in there, give it a quick little stir. I'm using some generics, well, it's not really generic. I guess Hunt's isn't a generic. I don't know, but it says premium on it. Garlic and herb pasta sauce. I'm just going to put the whole can in. I also have a second one that's meat flavored. How do you, like, it doesn't really smell like meat. What makes it meat flavored? Do you know? Let me know in the comments below if you like the meat flavored or not. I do, but what kind of meat are they putting in this stuff? I mean, it's in a can and, well, I don't see any meat. Do you? Dump it in. Give it a good stir. We want these meatballs covered. It looks like a lot of sauce. It really does, but it really isn't. This is going to actually reduce a little bit, believe it or not. I'm just going to cook this uncovered on like a medium heat for at least an hour. I want everything to cook through thoroughly. And you can see, well, maybe you can't from that angle here, but it's already starting to bubble up. So what I'm going to do is put a lid on this because I don't want tomato sauce all over my stove. So I'm going to set a little spatula over here. I'm going to give this a cover, and I use a vented lid. That way when I've got my pour spots, I put the vents where the pour spots are, and I also have this nice little pressure vent here. So this can splatter all it wants, and I'm not sure if you can see that, but it already is. That tells me I need to turn my heat down just a little bit. So I've got a little too high, but that's okay. This is how we cook. You have to constantly adjust everything. Spices, flavorings, heats, even the dishes that you're using. So I suggest you make this quick, easy, simple. It does take about an hour to let this cook. You can just heat and eat. You can microwave those meatballs and throw them in some, warmed up marinara sauce, but it's not going to taste anything like this well, especially when we add the cheese and we're using fresh bread. On top of the fresh bread that I've got here, like literally made today, I've got some French fried onions, some black olives, and I'm going to grate some Parmesan cheese on top of the provolone and the cheddar that I'm using. Yeah, you're going to want this, especially paired with that chicken dip. Oh, man, you're going to love your sports ball. We'll see you in a minute. Now that we have our meatballs with our Kickazz sauce pretty much done, I've moved them on the stove and just left them on low to keep them warm. I'm essentially just, that's it. I'm just keeping them warm. They're already cooked. The sauce is great, but we have to address our bread situation here and our cheese situation. So I am going to simply take some freshly made bread that I coated with mayo. A lot of people will use butter when they're going to toast off their bread. Butter is great. I love butter. I just was talking about butter in the last video. If you don't like butter, once again, let me know why down below in the comments. I use mayonnaise. Why? Because it tastes great. It crisps up really well. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to throw it into a pan. Just like that. I've got 2 of these suckers here. So I'm going to cram them in there. Now they say don't crowd the pan. Well, I'm kind of crowding the pan, as you can see here. But that's okay. This is one of the few cases that it is okay to kind of crowd the pan a little bit. That pan is actually really hot. And I just want to get a light toast on it because I'm going to take my handy dandy little sheet pan and I'm going to bake this in the oven to melt the cheese on it. So we'll get a nice crust on the outside. The inside will be lightly toasted. It's going to be delicious. In the meantime, I've noticed one thing. As we always say, taste your food. I've noticed that my sauce is a little bit acidic. It's just a little acidic. It tastes absolutely phenomenally good. It's a little acidic, so one of the ways to cut the acid is to use some sugar. Now, you don't want to use a lot of sugar. We don't want this to be sweet. No. But we want to cut the acid a little bit. That way we can really taste the savory flavor. So I'm using Spoonie Junior here, and I've got just half a Spoonie Junior. That is a measurement coming soon. We'll tell you the measurements. And I'm going to add this, as you can see here. Just going to kind of dust that in a little bit. And I'm going to use spatchy and just stir it in. That's all it needs. This is a nice, thick sauce. We got those vegetables in there. Oh my lord. Those peppers really kick this up a notch. This is no standard marinara. We're going to let that sit and do its thing. That sugar is going to essentially dissolve into the sauce, cut the acidity a little bit, and that's what we want. Can't be too acidic. That's my dog. He's excited because he wants a meatball sub too, so sorry about the barking in the background, but what am I going to do about it? He's a dog. He doesn't know any better. I'm going to toast these buns up, and yeah, then we're going to build. I've got sharp cheddar cheese. I've got provolone. Black olives. Well, I can't toss that one because that'll make a big old mess right there. I've got the little French fried onion crispies and Belgioso Parmesan that I'm going to grate over the top once everything is done. And that's it. We're pretty much ready to build as soon as these are toasted. The cheese is melted in the oven. I'll show you exactly how to build this, and it's very simple. You pretty much just put meatballs on the sandwich, tiny bit of sauce, olives, crunchy onions, grate some Parmesan cheese, fold it, eat it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Once these are toasted, I'm going to put them on my sheet pan like I showed you, and throw them in the oven for 5 minutes until the cheese is a little bit melty, kind of bubbly and good. Then I'm going to build it. I'll show you in just a few minutes. See you soon. One of the beauties of using mayonnaise instead of butter or just oil to toast a bread is it's very, very crisp and it cooks very, very quickly. It also imparts flavor, and that's what we want. Flavor upon flavor. I've got my bread completely toasted here. I'm not sure if you can see that. I have sharp cheddar and provolone. I've got them splayed out so that when I fold it with those meatballs, it's just enveloped in cheese. Oh, amazing. The bread is nice and hot. I burned myself a couple times, as I tend to do. At this point, I'm going to throw these into the oven. I've got it at 350 degrees. This is only going to take 3 minutes. And this cheese is going to be nice, bubbly, melted. And then I'm going to go ahead and build these up by putting some meatballs, a little bit of sauce, not too much. I don't like them too saucy. It's up to you how much sauce you want to use. After all, this is just you cooking. Crispy onions, a little bit of black olive, and that's it. We're eating. In the oven, we go. Few minutes, I'll show you how to build this sucker, and you're gonna love it. Trust me. It seems like a lot of work because there's so many steps, but it really isn't. It's damn near set and forget. Yeah. So I implore you, make this. See you in a minute. One thing that I've learned is to buy a pot holder or a little glove or something, because well, I burn myself all the time, and I do have these, but I forget to use them. It kind of hurts sometimes, but hey, you have to suffer for your art, so they say, but who are they and why do they say so much? I don't know. What I've got here, nice toasty bread, melted cheese. Now you might notice that the cheese is not completely melted. I mean, it's running down and it's doing its cheesiness. But we don't want the bread to get too hard. Our meatballs are also going to be hot. It's going to continue to melt that provolone on top of this cheese. Oh, it's going to be delicious. So now, at this point, we're going to put together our sandwich. So let's get it together. We're going to take one of these guys. We're going to sit them down on a plate. We've got our meatballs, which are absolutely gorgeous. And we're pretty much just going to put some meatballs on there and add some toppings. So we're going to take Spoonie here. Give our sauce a nice little stir. I'm not sure if you can see that in the shot. And we don't want too much sauce. We want to pull these out individually. Kind of move them around. That was my dog again. He gets really excited about our meatball sandwiches because, well, he likes them too. Not that I'm really feeding my dog meatball subs, but he just wants to participate. So excuse the noise. Here we go. We're just gonna put some meatballs on here. So I've got 5 meatballs. That seems decent enough. We don't want too much. You're going to want to add a little bit of extra sauce. Not a lot, because I do like messy sandwiches and messy burgers. You know, Carl's Jr. said if it's not all over your face, it doesn't, some crap like that. Now, messy food is fun sometimes. Sometimes it's not. At this point, I'm going to take some black olives. I use a fork because I don't want the juice. I'm just going to add a few. I'm just going to kind of sprinkle them in there. If they'll come off the fork. If they won't, then that's fine. I mean, we're all a little stubborn sometimes. If you know, not on my watch, buddy, you're not getting away. Just throw some olives on there. Olives and meatballs? What? Some people have thought that I was weird for putting olives on a meatball sub, but I asked them, have you ever been to Subway? Because they offer you them. Now, I also have some just French fried onions. Pretty simple. They're already done for you. I am going to do a video to show you how to make these yourselves, and oh man, they're even better than these ones. Trust me. Nice and fresh, so good. Now, put as little or as many as you like. This is completely up to you. And that's pretty much it, folks. Kind of squish it up a little bit. That is a nice, giant sandwich. Try not to let it leak all over the place, like it's kind of doing on this side. A little bit too much sauce, but once again, do this to your taste. This is you cooking. This is what you want. You know, kind of push it around, give it a little squish. Okay, this is really, really hot. So we do want this to cool for a moment. And make sure to have some napkins at the ready because this is going to make a mess, but I guarantee you it's going to be good. This sandwich is going to be absolutely delicious. It looks a little messy, but I guarantee you it's truly kick-ass. You're going to love it. Make it. Eat it. It's enjoyable, especially when you pair it with the kick-ass chicken dip that Miss Lynn made earlier. Ho ho ho! My lord. Chips, dip, this sports ball. You're gonna love it. Let's do it. Remember, stay foodie. Please like, subscribe, and share our content. Let me know if you like it. Let me know if you dislike it. Either way, the only thing that really matters here is don't eat garbage food. We'll see you next time. Thank you very much. You know what? I realized I was going to go and serve this to Chef Lynn. I forgot a key ingredient. Parmesan cheese. Now, this is very simple. Very, very simple. You have your Parmesan cheese and your cheese grater, and you simply grate it on top. Now, you don't want too much, you don't want too little, you want just enough. Look at that. Now, if you're the type of person to put parsley on things, put parsley on it. For this particular sandwich, I'm going to forgo the parsley. Although I wouldn't say don't do it. I'd say do it if you like it. But here we go. It looks like a messy sandwich, and it is a messy sandwich. But it's kick-ass and delicious. So, sorry I forgot the parm. Shoot me a comment below, and we'll see you next time. Have a great night, and kick ass.